Hello, you guys. I decided to get on because I didn't feel like doing another video and having to upload it. It's 7:30, 7:89 here. So we can do like an hour and a half. Shout out to somebody sent me, emailed me actually a copy of the podcast. And I got to listening to it. I was like, I think I want to listen to it with my subscribers. I want us all to listen to it. So I'm gonna let y'all, and we're gonna read. Shout out to Kimber. We're gonna read some of Govan's paperwork too. But Paul Hagerman, the gang unit officer that was on Dolph case, um, and the U.S. Marshals and the police in Indiana did a podcast speaking yesterday. Today. Looks like it happened today. Let me see. No, actually, it happened 2 weeks ago. They did it 2 weeks ago. And I appreciate the person sending it to me on phone them. He said on phone them. I tell you that sounds like a Chicago thing. On phone them. Hey Shan, on one we go. What's that? Is it L Rot? I can't pronounce it. Hey Sin, Tyranny, Kawana, Clarinetta, Debbie, new to you. How's everybody doing? We'll give some more people the opportunity to start coming in. I'm supposed to be cooking. I messed around. I had not eaten anything. Well, I ate 2 eggs this morning, and then I had not eaten anything else. So I had, before I went to work, I had taken out, like, I got some small steaks. And I was like, you know what? I could put them in the oven. I could put them on the stove. I messed around and ate a couple potato chips. And now I don't even want the steak. Isn't that something? That's why it's not good to eat junk food. So I think I'm going to put my steak up, peel my potatoes tonight. See, I know I'm going to season the steak before I put it back up. I'm going to season it. And therefore, when I get home tomorrow, no eat no junk because I eat a couple little pieces of potato chips. I don't even be wanting to eat no more. I'm doing very well. Hey, Miss Latoya. Hey, Ebony. Hey, Albany. It's Albany. It's Albany. Ebony, I don't know why I still call you Ebony. I used to always say it's so weird because I had all these names that I wanted to name my children. I always wanted to have twins and triplets. And I was like, I thought about, oh, if I have some twins, I'll name them Ebony and Essence. I always like that for girls, twin girls, Ebony and Essence. Anyways, you guys, I wanted to look at this podcast with you all. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to read Govan's paperwork first. Okay. I don't know if Hitta may have already read it. I don't know if he has. I haven't had the opportunity to tune in because y'all know I got some work tonight. Okay. Because somebody was telling me Hitta had read some paperwork. Yeah. Yes. Oh, triplets. I wanted to have triplets. If I had gotten married, I would have got those when I was younger, of course, those shots so that I could get because when you go get those I forget what they're called, those hormone shots so that you can get pregnant, you start ovulating multiple eggs, okay? And that's how people get multiple births. They be fraternal twins, but I would have wanted some triplets. But I always wanted triplet boys. I always wanted 3 triplet boys. I wanted 6 children. Okay. God is really good to me because I thought about settling down with a few people that I know I didn't want just to be able to have me some more children. I made a promise to myself I ain't having no more kids until I'm married. And there was a couple of them that I was like, okay, I don't, this right here ain't it. But, they do make good money and this, and that. I want to have them babies. I'm so glad God looked after me. I am. I'm just so happy. Yeah, what, my grandbaby, I'm just happy for my grandbaby. I love on it and send her home, child. Whew. I'm glad I didn't do that to myself. Even when I was younger, wanting to have 6 darn babies. Let's see. Let's start with Govan's paperwork, you guys, and then we'll get into the podcast with Hagerman and all of that. Okay. Let's see. I got the paperwork up. Yes. Okay. Here it is. Okay. It says, Mr. Govan was charged with a violation. I really don't want to read all those codes, which involves the use of a telecommunication device to harass another person. The initial charge stemmed from a telephone harassment case and has since escalated. Mr. Govan asserts that the underlying facts of the case involve him being a victim of a scam. So Govan is saying that the lady is scamming him. The alleged victim and acquaintance solicited $500 from the defendant under the pretense of assisting him in a rented vehicle. This is according to Govan. After providing the funds, the acquaintance failed to fulfill her promise, prompting a series of communication by her and the defendant. Mr. Govan has never committed any act of violence, according to his lawyers. The acquaintance, against the acquaintance, and possesses no weapons or instruments that could be deemed lethal. The communication between the parties reflect the frustration of a victim attempting to recover funds rather than any intent to harass or harm. The pretrial service officer reviewed the relevant factors, including the nature of the charges and Govan's history, and recommended a $10,000 bond. The magistrate judge ruling did not adequately consider the recommendation of the factors supporting a less restrictive mean of addressing the court's concerns. Mr. Govan has consistently complied with all of the court's orders and has appeared punctually for all scheduled court dates. He has demonstrated a commitment to addressing the charges against him and has not attempted to evade prosecution. Mr. Govan has strong ties to the community and family, including a young son with severe autism who relies on him for support. Detention would severely impact both Mr. Govan's ability to prepare his defense and his family's well-being. For the reasons stated above, Mr. Govan respectfully requests that the court reconsider the order of detention and grant a bond in the amount of $10,000 with conditions that would allow him to remain free while adequately addressing the court's concerns. The defendant Hernandez Govan respectfully requests that the honorable court grants him motion for reconsideration and appeal of the order of detention, allowing him for the issuance of a bond under reasonable conditions. Okay, let's see. Let's pull up the other one. Okay, let's pull up the other. I just clicks out because I don't ever know what's gonna pop up if I keep thing up. Okay. All right. It says, comes now the United States of America by and through the United States Attorney D. Michael Donovan and Assistant United States Attorney J. Williams Crow, and states for its response to the opposition. Okay. See, when there's a request made, all right, when there is a request made, as it was by his attorney, then once the request is made, the prosecutors have the opportunity to respond. And it depends on the response of the prosecutors, okay? If they know the law, if it's a good response, then they might win that argument. The issue that happened in his state case, I saw that paperwork. I'm telling you right now, they didn't know how to argue nothing. Okay, it was pitiful. Okay, the United States opposes defendant Hernandez motion for review of detention decisions and request that the court affirm the magistrate judge detention order. A court reviewing a detention order on appeal considers factual findings for clear error, but we consider mixed questions of law and fact, including the ultimate question whether detention is warranted. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so this is a response from the opposition. Okay, so this is the federal prosecutors responding. A court reviewing a detention order on appeal considers factual findings for clear error, but we consider mixed questions of law and fact, including the ultimate question whether detention is warranted. Okay, this review may be conducted by reviewing the prior and already considered by the magistrate judge and making fresh findings on a complete record. United States versus Korea. Okay, and it goes into all of those statutes under the Bail Reform Act. Detention is appropriate where no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of any person and the community. The government must prove dangerous by clear and convincing evidence. Evidence demonstrates that defendant presents a serious danger to the victim. The defense attempts to minimize this case as involving merely mean speech occurring during a single day. The characterization is incompatible with the evidence presented at the detention hearing. The victim testified that defendant repeatedly threatened her child, threatened to shoot up her residence, and threatened to publicly distribute sexual videos that had been created with the expectation that they would remain private. The victim testified that the defendant became enraged over a dispute involving $500, rejected her repeated offers to return the money, and instead escalated to threats of violence and intimidation. The victim further testified that defendant told her he was going to post private sexual videos online, send her one of the videos, and continue threatening publication despite her pleas. Particularly troubling were defendant's statements suggesting surveillance of the victim's residence. The victim testified that defendant referenced individuals waiting outside her home and demonstrated knowledge that police were present there. She explained that the only apparent way defendant would have known those facts was by personally observing the police at her residence. The victim also testified that she remained so fearful that she and her child had not returned to her home at where she was living at because defendant's threats. She expressly told the court that she feared defendant will harm her and her child if released. These are not mere insults or constitutionally protected expressions of anger. They are threats of violence, intimidation, extortionate conduct directed at a specific victim. The magistrate judge correctly found probable cause and probably considered the nature of the threats. The defense argues that the proof of cyber stalking is non-existent. However, the magistrate judge found probable cause that defendant used electronic communication, including calls, voice messages, and text messages, to place the victim in fear and cause substantial emotional stress. The court specifically noted that threats against the victim and her child and the threats to distribute intimate videos. Furthermore, there were no arguments from the defense at the hearing that the government failed to meet its probable cause then. In any event, the detention stage, the court is not deciding guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The issue is whether the evidence demonstrates that defendant presents a danger that cannot be reasonably managed through conditions of release. The record overwhelmingly supports the conclusion. Okay? The defense mischaracterized the record. The appeal argues that the alleged conduct occurred over one day and the defendant had no further interaction with the victim. The argument ignores why there was no further contact. The FBI obtained a federal complaint immediately after the defendant released from state custody and arrested him the following day. Let me just click back over here and say this. Those some badass prosecutors. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. They some badass prosecutors. Okay. Federal prosecutors. Okay. It says the FBI obtained a federal complaint immediately after defendant's release from state custody and arrested him the following day. Agent, I can't pronounce his name, testified that defendant was released by state authorities on June 12th and was taken into federal custody the very next day by noon. The absence of additional threats is not evidence of defendant ceased being dangerous. Rather, it reflects the law enforcement intervened almost immediately after the release. What a good response, okay? It says the magistrate judge was entitled to consider defendant's criminal history and demonstrated inability to comply with court supervision. During the hearing, the United States detailed a lengthy criminal record supported by the pretrial service report, which involved violent conduct, aggravated assault, firearm offense, drug trafficking offenses, repeated probation revocation, supervised release violations, and outstanding warrants. Let me tell y'all something. When Govan got on here and he bragged about how when he was out during the Dolph case, he said it wasn't a place that I didn't want to go, that I didn't go. And he talked about how he waited until after he got his last call and then he got in the street. They was listening to that stuff. The government also proffered evidence that defendant previously violated court-imposed conditions by engaging in prohibited public commentary while on release in another high-profile case. The history directly bears on the Central Bail Reform Act question, whether defendant can be trusted to comply with conditions designed to protect the victim. The record supports that magistrate judge conclusion that he cannot be. Okay, those some badass federal prosecutors. I'm telling you, they've been waiting on him. The defense criticizes the magistrate judge for asking whether the court should wait until defendant physically harms the victim before acting. So the magistrate in the case, okay, says that we can't wait for the defendant to actually harm this victim to act. We're going to take him off the street right now. Okay. And they said Govan was, he feels like that the judge criticized him. He was offended that the magistrate actually said that. The Bail Reform Act is preventative. Courts are not required to wait until a threatened victim is assaulted before ordering detention. The magistrate judge correctly focused on defendant's explicit threats, his statement that he did not care about police, National Guard, or nothing, and the inability of law enforcement to protect the victim every moment of the day. The magistrate judge ultimately concluded the fact stands out most was the danger posed to the victim and that no release condition would adequately mitigate that danger. That finding is fully supported by the record. Conclusion: the evidence established by clear, convincing evidence that defendant presents a serious danger to the victim and that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure her safety. The magistrate judge carefully considered the statute factor and correctly ordered detention. For these reasons, the United States respectfully requests that the court deny defendant's motion for review detention decision and affirm the detention order. What a statement. Now, that's how you write up a statement to the opposition. Okay? I don't know how they're going to come back from that. And the magistrate actually, I mean, you think about, okay, when that stuff, when the during the OJ Simpson case, they put a lot of laws in place. What judge is going to want to go against something like that when they are constantly mentioning the fact that he says nothing can save you? Nothing. Ain't no judge going to ruin his career, okay, by letting him out after he has already said that, right? Okay, so let me see if there's another one. Okay, I think there's one more. Um, okay, so that was it. That was it right there. Um, okay. So I think Govan has to go to court in August. Hey, this is their argument. This is their response to Govan's attorney's motion for him to be released while he fights this case. Hey, I don't. That's a good response. Okay. So I don't know how it's gonna be hard. He might find a judge that the judge might do it, but I don't know about that. Yeah, the feds brought up his entire past where the state didn't do that. Okay, the state didn't do that. Manny was able to get all of his past criminal history thrown out, and Carla and them, they wrote up some type of damn argument. But I mean, it seemed like to me it was somebody in elementary school. Hush, somebody in elementary school could have wrote that up, child. Okay. Anyways, you guys, um, they had been
On November 17th,
they had been waiting
2021,
for Govan. They had been waiting for Govan and preparing. They had prepared for him. Okay, so y'all, this is a podcast, okay, that Paul Hagerman's the supervisory deputy US Marshal, Shelby County task force, okay, retired MPD gang unit investigator, and U.S. Marshal from out of Indiana. They all was on this case, and they spoke. I mean, on this podcast 2 weeks ago, and they spoke about the Young Dolph and the details of the Young Dolph case. Move, boy.
in broad daylight in South Memphis, gunfire erupted inside a neighborhood bakery. The man targeted was young Dolph, born Adolph Thornton Jr., a self-made music mogul, performer, and hometown hero. Within seconds, he was dead. As the city mourned, investigators launched an intense manhunt. Despite his best efforts, the killer, Justin Johnson, was tracked down and brought to justice by my guest today. I'm Chris Godsick, and this is Chasing Evil. Welcome. My first guest today is Paul Hagerman. He's the Deputy District Attorney for Shelby County, Tennessee, and he was the lead prosecutor on the Young Dolph case. Then we have Seth Bruce joining us from the Marshals. He's the supervisor for the U.S. Marshals Two River Violent Fugitive Task Force. Justin Bischoff, he's with the Shelby County Sheriff's Office and a member of the task force. And Walter Doty, he's a retired member of the Memphis PD, and he was also assigned to the task force. And we have Mike Miller on the phone. He's a senior inspector with the Marshals out of the Southern District of Indiana. Welcome, everyone. All right, the murder of young Dolph was in the making for quite some time. This hit was the result of a rap feud.
We learned from the investigation that these were, I guess, two rival rap groups or recording groups, CMG and then Dolph's group, and the feud had gone back probably in excess of 2
Y'all, there's
years.
some interesting stuff
So I
on
just want to put
here.
it out there. So it's CMG. Some people say
Y'all
Cocaine
hit
Music
that like
Group is a
button.
rap label run by Yo Gotti.
Who's a Memphis rapper, yes.
Right. And Young Dolph's label, which is
It
PRE,
goes back to
or
court
Paper
in
Route Empire.
August.
That's right.
Those are the two labels that we'll be talking about today.
And Gotti's label was bigger first. Dolph is from a small neighborhood in Memphis called Castalia. And early on in his rap history, I guess he had been approached by Gotti with regard to joining his label, and there may have been a disagreement with regard to that at some point.
Young Dolph wanted to stay independent.
He wanted to make it himself, I think, was sort of the theme of his music and I guess the way he lived.
Right. And for some reason that we're not aware of, in 2016, Young Dolph posted a subliminal diss at Yo Gotti on Twitter.
I'm not familiar in particular with the various disses that were cast between the two.
Ray.
Okay.
I know in several of their respective rap songs, they're quite explicit
Right.
with regard to disrespecting each other and their families.
That was February 11th that went on Twitter. And then on February 24th, Young Dolph released an album called King of Memphis, which was widely viewed as a response to the rivalry with Yo Gotti.
Dodie, is crowning yourself King of Memphis or releasing a diss track enough to get you killed?
Absolutely. The streets.
Y'all
here in
just heard that?
Your reputation means everything. And if you allow someone to disrespect you, it makes it seem as you're weak. And no one wants to be labeled as weak, and you're trying to put on this persona that you're bigger than what you really are.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's escalating. And then the following year, in February, Dolph's SUV
Makita.
is shot over 100 times in Charlotte, North Carolina.
And that then becomes a rap song that Dolph releases, 100 Shots. Long history, several acts of violence between the two groups, many more acts probably that were never reported, in the media. But fair to say a violent sort of feud between these two groups.
And just to put it aside for a second, is that kind of what the music scene is like in Memphis?
It's gangster rap, and a lot of these groups are associated with other organizations, associations like Memphis Street Gangs. And so crime and music blended over, at least with regard to these two groups and ultimately, this rivalry.
Can you guys spend a minute talking about the gang situation in Memphis?
Memphis is a city that is infested with gang.
That's the gang investigator,
violence.
I think.
We
One
have
of
a
'em.
lot of gangs in this city, and the unique thing is about the gangs here in Memphis is that a lot of these guys from other gangs actually communicate with one another. And where I'm from, Chicago, the vice lords would only be with the vice lord, the disciples would only be with the disciples. But here in Memphis, it's different. And a lot of these guys hang with each other for the simple fact of the rap game. They want to. It's about money, and money is what brings us together. But if it goes left, then I got to go with whatever gang I'm affiliated with. These guys come from the low income part of this city. These guys,
Who are the big gangs in Memphis?
man, I've been retired now, but you would have Great Street Crips. You would have Ice Lords. You would have GDs. But then you would also have hybrid gangs such as Trula Mafia, Cash Money,
AOB.
AOB. You would have a lot of hybrid gangs. The hybrid gangs at the time when I was on the gang task force was these younger guys who didn't want to abide by the older guys' rules. It was like, we're not abiding by those rules. We're gonna do whatever we want to do. We're gonna make this money however we can.
Right.
And we're not gonna go by the rules. We're gonna if a person is part of a different set and he's talking about money, we're gonna work with that individual. And which these younger guys would, I think, in my opinion, that they're more deadly than the older guys. They don't have conscience. They don't care about going to jail. They don't care about life because as they look at it, man, we fighting every day just to survive in these communities
Hmm.
because we live in these communities and we don't see the politicians, we don't see the mayor, we don't see the chief of police coming into these areas. The only time we see these individuals um, when it's time to vote, then you'll see them coming to the community. But other than that, they don't have the resources. Um, so it's like survival of the fittest in these particular areas.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so they deem
Leo.
if we can make it on the dope game, we'll make it on the dope game. If I can change it into selling a little bit of dope, so I can get some equipment to become a rapper and try to make it on that end. Whatever I have to do in order to survive, that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
So
Mm.
a lot of these guys are they're just trying to survive. And is it right? No, it's not right. But you're going to do whatever you need to do in order to survive in these neighborhoods.
Right. Okay. So in
Send
February
me to the job.
2017, Dolph's SUV is shot over 100 times. He is not injured. And then in September of 2017, Dolph is shot multiple times outside a shoe store in Hollywood, California. So this rivalry has obviously escalated from what we can see in this instance on one side.
For sure. I mean, this is long standing rivalry, and like I said, acts of violence that were reported in the media, and probably acts that were not.
Mm-hmm. So that was September 26, 2017, where Dolph is shot outside the shoe store in Hollywood, California. And then in November in 2021, 4 years later, young Dolph is fatally shot outside Makita's homemade butter cookies in Memphis, Tennessee. A brutal slaying that is caught on video.
Yeah, just it's a little local cookie store that was actually one of Dolph's favorite places. He was in town, and he stopped by in the middle of the day, like you said. It's broad daylight. Dolph goes there with his brother. They walk inside the store. His brother's ordering while Dolph is taking a phone call at the front of the store. The store is all windows basically in the front, so you can see entirely into the business. While Dolph is there, they've been there maybe a minute or two at the most, probably 2 minutes. A white Mercedes that has some damage to the side of it pulls up, and two gunmen get out of the car, one with a assault rifle and one with a firearm, and just shoot and shoot and shoot into Dolph, who's standing right there inside the business, right behind that window.
And it's horrible. He's shot 22 times.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the bullets that hit him. So do we have any idea how many rounds were fired altogether?
Numerous casings found, throughout the parking lot, 20 plus. They were shooting him from a very close distance.
Right.
I mean, we're talking 3 or 4 feet away.
And shootings are not, or they used to be not uncommon in Memphis.
Yeah, unfortunately, especially in 2021, Memphis crime rate was high, and we had over 300 murders that year. And Memphis, unfortunately, has its share of violence.
But this shooting really rocked the community.
Yeah, this was different. Not just his celebrity status, and not just what he meant to Memphis, but broad daylight right there at the cookie store, and it's all caught on video. This is pretty shocking.
Okay, let's talk for a moment, because I was unfamiliar with Dolph's music and obviously what Dolph meant to the community. Can from what people said to you and from the reaction of the news media and other community leaders, what kind of person was Dolph? How was he viewed by the community?
Yeah, so he's from Memphis. Neighborhood's called Castalia, not probably 7-8 minutes from where we're sitting now. Is self-made, sort of Memphis-made artist who wanted to go on his own and do it himself. His music's very gritty. There's several songs that he's won awards for, and is critically acclaimed. He was known in the local community. They'd always give like a turkey giveaway and things like that. So he He was liked in the Memphis community, um, and known internationally as a rap star.
Right.
I guess sort of the flip side of that is there's members of his label, just like there's members of the rival label who also associate with Memphis street gangs. And so it was not uncommon that he would have associated with people, or CMG individuals would have associated with people who were known uh, gang members and crime drivers here in Memphis.
And did I read that they were either considering the city, or they did put a curfew into place that night because they were concerned about the unrest?
They were concerned about the unrest. I know the police were ultra busy that night. Fortunately, there wasn't any sort of widespread unrest. I think there was also not so much unrest from the public as what they're worried about, but the associated sort of street gangs that associate with both of the labels, whether or not that violence would flare up, like crazy.
The murder happened, brazen murder, daylight, and it is caught completely and wholly on video for the world to see.
Yeah, and you can see the two suspects in the video. You don't have great pictures of their faces, but you can see distinctive clothing that they're wearing, including sort of the Bass Pro hat that we'll find out that Justin Johnson was wearing at the time. Most importantly, you're able to see the suspect vehicle. It's this white Mercedes, and importantly, it has some damage to the side of it that's distinctive. And so that's going to be a big lead the police have to go on.
So can you talk a little bit about how did they identify Cornelius Smith and Justin Johnson?
Yeah, so different things came together. With regard to the vehicle, able to track it through the city using the flock cameras and witness descriptions of the vehicle at various points.
Let me stop it right here. Let me just say this
with regard to the individuals that may have been.
Now, they went over there. You heard him say that they tracked the vehicle through the city using the sky cams, but they went over there and killed that boy sitting on their porch for nothing because they thought he had told it.
And responsible that came in from the public and anonymous tip. And
I love you too, Black Moolah.
Work on this one, and not terribly long after the crime, we're able to sort of identify the two gunmen, or at least have good suspects with regard to the two gunmen. Back then, I worked with a multi-agency gang unit on a day-to-day basis, and so when this happened, I started consulting with the police, and we sort of strategized game plans and everything with regard to the suspects. Ultimately, our office would be who requests the grand jury for an indictment against the defendants.
To issue a warrant for somebody, what is the criteria that has to be met?
Probable cause is sort of the legal standard. So we have to prove these individuals, more likely than not, were involved in this crime. In this case, a typical warrant wasn't issued, but instead we went to the grand jury and presented the case. So we had an indictment that carries with it an arrest warrant.
Okay. So even though you didn't have their faces, because they were covered during the shooting, you felt there was enough evidence linking them.
So we had real good evidence. By the time the indictment came down, so we were able to track Justin Johnson's movements through the entire day. We were able to see that Mercedes arrive at the parking garage of the apartment complex he was living in. We were able to see him walking through the apartment complex in the exact same clothing as the shooter in the video. We were able to see him after the shooting come back, change his clothes, pack his bags, and literally get out of town. So the proof against Justin Johnson was pretty overwhelming once we had a suspect and started tracking his movements.
Right.
We were even able to track the movements of the shooters right after the shooting. They went to an apartment complex in South Memphis that had some video footage, and we were able to see Justin and Cornelius both in that video right after the shooting. Cornelius himself had been shot, so we were able to see him, injured there on the video, and
pretty damning.
Yeah, it was. We had good proof.
Okay. And then you go to a grand jury and you present that proof to them. And
They
then
returned indictments.
okay. And what does an indictment mean for?
An indictment starts a criminal case up in criminal court. And so
Okay.
they were indicted for first degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder and attempted murder and various other incredibly serious crimes.
Right.
Um, at that point, then the manhunt begins with regard to find Mr.
Okay.
Johnson.
And the one other charge that I was thinking about is the capital murder charge.
Yeah, so that's that phrase is a little bit of a colloquialism. There is no charge of
Okay.
capital murder in Tennessee. They're charged with first degree murder. Capital refers to the death penalty, and in Tennessee, we charge first degree murder, and then we would have to give notice to the defendants that we were seeking the death penalty. And at that point, I guess you could consider it a capital case.
Uh-huh. Okay. And the death penalty was not sought at this time.
That's correct. That's
Okay.
correct. And various considerations go into that, including the defendant's age and criminal history and wishes of the family, and
Mhm.
all sorts of various factors go into that.
What was Justin Johnson's criminal history like?
He had been involved in a shooting some
Thank you,
years ago
darling.
at a bowling alley here in Memphis, Tennessee, and had some charges related to that. I believe he also had a lower level sex offense as well. He was pretty young, though, so he didn't have an incredibly voluminous criminal history.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And when did it come to light that this was a paid hit?
So we've had a trial in this matter of Justin Johnson, and Cornelius Smith has testified, and he testified with regard from the start to the end of this thing about how he and Justin were approached to do this hit. A hit that he said was put out on not just Dolph, but the other artist of PRE.
Oh.
Thank you for the cash
by
out.
an individual who's associated with CMG by the name of the street name of Big Jook, and he's now deceased. So Cornelius, once he was caught, gave a statement with regard to that. When Cornelius was arrested, he immediately agreed to cooperate and give truthful statements.
He was arrested first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To give truthful statements about what occurred, and he identified himself on the video as one of the shooters and identified Justin Johnson, as the other shooter. He also gave us the background into, what this was about, because it's not like Justin Johnson and Cornelius Smith just all of a sudden woke up one morning and decided they wanted, to kill Dolph. That's not what happened. They didn't fall out of the sky and, do this thing in the middle of the day. He described sort of the background history, though, about being approached by an individual he identified as Hernandez Govan and ultimately Big Jook. Discussions which included, I said, not just a hit on Dolph, but hits on the other PRE artist. He described actions he took with regard to not just the killing of Dolph, but attempted acts of violence against the other artists. And so this is a big picture thing.
And what was in it for him?
Money. At the time, he is drug addicted, hurting for money, and this is what it was about.
And is the view it's that important that I will risk spending the rest of my life in jail?
Yeah, I don't know how much thought goes into it. I mean, at some point, if you're living one day at a time, it's what's in front of you.
Right.
Some thought went into it on Justin's part. His motivations were not just money, but also fame. He saw this as a way to work his way onto the record label of CMG. He was an aspiring rapper. He was after a little bit more than money.
And he was just going to do this, not get caught, and become a big artist.
That was planned.
So Justin skips town. Justin is in the wind. He is not to be found.
Yeah, we have large manhunt here in Memphis, not just for him, but for the car. Ultimately, the car is found behind a house that's owned by Hernandez Govan, the name I mentioned earlier, less than 2 or 3 miles from the scene. The car's processed by crime scene. There's a fingerprint on the car that belongs to Cornelius, so that is another item, sort of evidence there against Cornelius. But the car's obviously been cleaned and sort of half hidden out behind this house.
The process then is for Memphis PD to contact the Two Rivers Violent Fugitive Task Force.
Yeah, that's correct.
So, Justin, you get the case.
Well, I'd entered it into the federal system to work it on around the 4th, and I believe at that point the multi-agency gang unit was still looking for him. And in looking for him, I believe they found his half brother at one of at a house that they were looking for.
So after the murder, Justin leaves town immediately.
Right.
But at some point, shortly after that, he comes back in town. When he comes back in town, he sees his half brother, and they're not particularly close. They share the same father, but they're not like brothers, like maybe we see each other every day or anything like that. The half brother also doesn't have a criminal history, and he's not involved in any of these street gangs or anything like this.
Right.
He knows that Justin is acting very odd. And one of the things Justin does is Justin gives him, the half brother, his telephone. He tells the half brother, here's my phone because I'm leaving town again, and I still need to be able to FaceTime with my parole officer because he's on parole at the time. So he basically gives his half brother the murder phone. This would be the phone he had on the scene at the time of the murder, which is going to be damning evidence, against him, and leaves his brother sort of holding the murder phone. And this will lead investigators like these marshals here to the half brother.
I get a call from
so the marshals that hunted him down is there doing the interview.
Okay.
And he calls me and says, man, I got this. I've got his phone, Justin Johnson's phone number from him, that he was on the phone with him, actually talking to him when we got to the door. I need you to get up on this quick. As soon as it came up, it was live. By that next morning, he had cut it off and dropped it. But it was in Dallas.
Right.
And we actually, from the call detail records, kind of figured out who he was talking to on that device.
Right.
And had heard information that he might have a couple of cousins that live in the Texas area somewhere. One of the guys that he was talking to was his cousin, Shundell, and another one was his cousin, Leo Barnett. And we kind of figured that he might be with Shundell there. We'd passed a collateral on to Dallas.
Right.
And Dallas actually went to, I believe it was where Shundell lived, and he was not there. Spoke with Shundell's girlfriend, and she just kind of denied everything. Said, he's not here. I don't know what you're talking about, and kind of left him in the wind. After that point, it kind of went a little cold. But then I'd gotten information from Shundell's phone that he had called in a car rental service here in Memphis. So I went to that car rental service and talked to them, found out that he had rented, I believe it was a Dodge Ram, silver Dodge Ram. I was actually able to locate that vehicle here in Memphis over in the Hickory Hill area. Sat on the car for a while. I left it for a minute, had to use a bathroom, so I left it. And of course, as soon as you leave the car like that, guess what happens?
I've been sitting surveillance with you guys, and apparently nothing happens until you go to the bathroom or go to lunch.
Right.
If you want something to happen, that's the moment.
So I left, and then the car left. So I called the car rental place to see if they knew where the vehicle was. And they said, well, yeah, it's been driven over to our lot over here. They were dropping off the vehicle. And when we got over there, we looked at the vehicle. We found where the vehicle actually had a bullet hole, what appeared to at least be a bullet hole and was later found to be a bullet hole, in the rearview mirror, driver's side rearview mirror.
And did you ever find out the origin of that story?
No, I mean, there were a lot of guesses as to what it was. That obviously Justin Johnson was in that vehicle, because we'd actually, after doing that, we'd actually talked to
So I wonder if that means that somebody had been shooting that straight drop behind.
his believe it was his baby mama's parents at a house. And they had told us after denying and denying and denying, they had finally told us, yeah, he came by here a day or two ago
Right.
and was in that silver vehicle.
Paul, at trial, was there ever
So
anything that came out
Kayla's
to
mama.
indicate how that bullet hole got there?
No, I mean, we all suspect it's retaliation that, somebody was looking for Justin when he was, here, but that's nothing that ever came out of trial. You would need basically Justin
Right.
to tell us that story. And
You notice Paul Hagerman does not want to talk about that, but there was some retaliation. We just finding this out. There was some retaliation. There was a hole in the car. Paul Hagerman kind of brushed that off. He says, obviously, somebody was trying to get back at Justin Johnson. What the car had, they shot at him.
no, he did not.
And what do you think about the theory that there was another contract put out on Justin?
Oh, I think it's very likely that
That wasn't the white.
individuals
He's
seeking
not talking about
retaliation
the
against
white
Justin
Mercedes.
Johnson,
This is another
after
car.
the shooting.
So he wasn't only on the run from police.
If he were smart, he'd be on the run from not just the police, but from the people seeking to retaliate against him.
Right.
Now, if he were smart, I guess. During the same time period, not only is he coming back to Memphis and doing whatever he's doing in Memphis, but he's also posting various things on either his Instagram or his Twitter or whatever it is with money and fancy cars and fancy outfits and things like that. So this isn't somebody who went into strict disciplined hiding or something like that.
But I just got to put a pin in this for 1 second, because so he's on the run and that's the ideal time for him to be posting.
Well, I think you have to understand, I said he wasn't just about the money, he was about the fame. And to be seen, after this, even, while he's a suspect with money and fancy cars and all that is probably part of the allure of the thing for him.
That has to come back and haunt him at trial, yes?
Y'all hit the like button.
Some of those, yes. Some of those pictures were introduced at trial.
So often murderers don't have a ton of resources. If you think of it as a game between us and them, chess or cards or whatever, then their moves are limited by what they can do. And so if you don't have money or you don't have friends with money, you can't go stay in other cities. You can't go stay in hotels. You can't rent cars. This was not the case with Justin Johnson. He was able to change cities. He was able to rent cars. He was able to stay in motels. And so even though he was posting on social media, it's still very challenging to locate him based on his movements and based on his resources.
I remember a couple of the pictures, $10,000 probably or more, in cash. And I remember a Bentley,
Yeah.
so I mean,
I remember seeing the one with the Bentley where he was
Yeah.
standing outside. Yeah.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about that one is that's how we kind of figured out that he was one of the ways that we kind of figured out he was in Atlanta at the time.
I
Was
told
not
y'all.
because of the car, or not because of anything other than the graffiti in the background. We had
Right.
a suspicion that he was in Atlanta at that point anyways, but the graffiti in the background, it said "fuck Krog." Krog is a street in Atlanta.
Okay.
So we kind of, and we'd already heard from various sources that he was in Atlanta at the time.
Right.
That just kind of sealed the deal a little bit, stating more evidence that he was in Atlanta.
I think we heard, at trial that he made it to Dallas, that he made it to Nashville, he made it to Atlanta, ultimately Indianapolis or that, sort of area. So he was mobile and with money and
He had thought about his escape plan.
I don't know how well thought out it was,
Right.
but it was
I think he was making it up as he went along.
Yeah,
I mean, he
I
had
would
his
say.
areas that he liked to go to, but he just kind of made up as he went along where he was going to go.
Right.
After he left Dallas and came to Memphis, I believe he came to Memphis right after he left Dallas. I could be wrong. But I know that was around Christmas time that year.
Right.
And when he left Memphis, which was shortly, I believe, after he dropped that car off, he had released a video of Trackhawk, of a song that he had made, and a music video. And we're looking at that video. That was another reason why we thought he was possibly in Atlanta, was because I want to say he said it was going to drop at 12 o'clock, and Dallas is an hour ahead. So it did drop at 12 o'clock Dallas's time, but it dropped at 11 o'clock our time.
Right.
So it was kind of like, yeah, I know it just kind of made sense that that's where he would be.
Mm-hmm.
But we looked and watched that video, and one of the guys that was really a good analyst over at the Marshalls, looked at it and looked in the background and saw where they had, I mean, it was the weirdest thing. And I was like, I didn't even think of that. That's pretty good. He found where the ice chest in the background was serviced by a certain company, and found out in our area that there were only 2 or 3 places that were that ice company served to bring ice. So we found out what place it was, a gas station in Blytheville, Arkansas, that he actually shot that video at. So me and Dodie went to the gas station to try and locate and see if there was anything we could find there. We found obviously the ice chest, but nothing of evidentiary value or anything that was going to help us with him. But I mean, we didn't know that till we got there. But
Right.
when he left Memphis, that's exactly where he went. And then from there, I believe he went to Nashville, then probably Atlanta.
That's
And
the federal
so,
agent
this whole
talking. Those
time,
are the
the
U.S.
tip line
Marshals
is
that
open.
tracked them down.
Yes.
And you're getting a lot of tips. And I know some of them that have been valuable early on. Now I've done several podcasts where some tips come in, sometimes given by psychics.
Yeah. When the marshals made it a major case, which was probably, I want to say, around the beginning of January when they made it a major case. See, you have basically 3 different types of cases for the most part at the marshals.
Mm-hmm.
It's your normal standard case. Then you can make it a major case. And then if it really ramps up, then they can take it to a top 15 through the U.S.
Okay.
This one we had made a major case, which meant they released like billboards and stuff like that.
Extra reward money.
Yeah. Trying to
More
ramp it up, more
resources.
resources and
Okay.
stuff like
Tips
that.
tips are a funny thing because they're often very good and they often break cases. However, you have to sort through a lot of chaff to get to the wheat, and you get a lot of people who are, no offense to the psychic community, but they're not usually on top of things for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember one of them that I get a call at like 3-4 in the morning and my phone's ringing. So I'm waking up answering it, and it's a psychic telling me that she knows where he's at by remote viewing, that he's somewhere in Mississippi near a body of water, which at the point she told me, I knew he was in Atlanta. So, but you don't want to be, there's no reason to be mean to him or anything. So I was just like, yes, ma'am, we'll look into that. I appreciate you calling, and went back to sleep. But
Wait till 9 a.m. to call next time.
yeah.
But wait, there was nothing more specific than a body of water?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I'd gotten a few calls similar to that there were psychics, and some that were actually somewhat helpful, but they were giving information that we already knew.
So the last time he was tracked, we were in Atlanta.
Yes.
Okay.
And we do know he had a known girlfriend that used to live in Memphis that lived in Atlanta. We'd sent a lead out there to check her house because we had information that he was possibly at her house. Atlanta was not able to establish whether someone was there or not, and was not able to establish whether it was him, if there was anybody there, or even if he was had been around there. So they ended up having to walk away from that. In the meantime, the funny thing is after that happened, shortly after that happened, the marshal for the area, our marshal for Memphis or for West Tennessee, had called us into his office, wanted a meeting with me, Como. There's also a Dodie, obviously, and also a team leader of ours, Thomas Ballard. And we're sitting there, and he wanted an update and was like kind of looking at us like, because this was after he had dropped the video for Trackhawk. So he was kind of like, it was like a few days, I want to say, after that dropped.
Right.
He was sitting there telling us, that to me is almost an embarrassment. Is that not, you guys not? And we're like, yeah, we are. I promise you, we're trying to work this. And as we're sitting there talking to him, we're explaining to him, we're pretty sure he's in Atlanta at this point. When we explained to him how we felt like he was in Atlanta and gave him the information. And he said, okay, so you guys are saying you need to go to Atlanta. We're like, okay, sure. Yeah, we'll go to Atlanta. So he was, at that point, he was telling us, y'all get your bags packed, go home, get your bags packed. You guys are going to Atlanta. Right. Like, okay, sure. In that instance was when Como, who was handling, he gets a call from someone at the marshals. She told us that Shundell had rented a vehicle this morning. And I want to say that was on the 11th of January, had rented a vehicle in Atlanta, Georgia. Shundell doesn't live in Atlanta. Shundell lives in Dallas at this point. And he was in contact with Shundell a lot. All of us looked at each other and said, there's no way in the world that he's not in that vehicle with him. We were just sitting here going, there's no way in the world.
Right.
So we were able to locate that vehicle. I want to say it was right outside Indianapolis.
Okay.
And that's when we hurried up to get a lead sent to Indianapolis. And we were getting information as to where the vehicle actually was.
And now we will go to Mike Miller, who's on the horn, who is a senior inspector with the marshals out of the Southern District of Indiana. Welcome, Mike.
Hello, thank you.
So the ball is now in your court.
So on January 11th, it was around 2:30 p.m. I got a call. They were tracking a rental car they believed was occupied by Justin Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Traveling just north of Indianapolis and heading south. Maybe they're going back to Atlanta, could possibly be going back to Memphis. We weren't totally sure. So I was on the north side of Indianapolis, so I started heading back south, trying to get a hold of some people in Louisville, thinking maybe they're going south. I was at least 20 minutes behind this vehicle already. And she's starting to send me information on the targets and locates of the vehicle. Vehicle actually started traveling westbound on Interstate 70 towards St. Louis. So like, okay, probably going to Memphis. Let's try to reach out to either Southern District of Illinois to kind of get them up to speed to see if they can maybe possibly catch up with this vehicle. That car got to almost to Illinois and pulled off the interstate and stopped at a Pilot gas station, one of those like truck stop gas stations.
Uh-huh.
And so that was actually got real lucky there. You know, I'm still 20, 25 minutes behind trying to catch up. I got 2 phones going. I got a radio, text group, trying to get people spun up. We have a deputy out in Terre Haute, Indiana, and he got one of our task force officers. They were able to get over to the gas station and actually set up on it. We had Indiana State Police was assisting us, and then Putnam County Sheriff's Office. Our guys got there first to the gas station, got eyes on, but we only saw one individual at the vehicle. He went inside and then came back out. We didn't know how long they were going to be there.
He is
Shondell.
right. Okay.
We didn't see anybody else in the vehicle.
But you guys are keeping your distance. You're not swarming or anything like that. You're trying to just see what this situation is.
We have one of our TFOs parked in the parking lot of the gas station, and then one across the street. They're not in any marked vehicles. State Police is parked at another gas station across the street. So we got our distance, keeping eyes on. Shondell came out. We didn't know it was Shondell, but we knew it wasn't Justin Johnson because just by looking at him, it didn't look anything close to the target.
Right.
So we assumed it was Shondell. He came out, went back in. He did that probably twice while I was there. When I actually got there, we ended up with 9 state troopers there, and 3 of us from the task force and 2 from the Putnam County Sheriff's Office. So we had quite a few people there. I drove by the vehicle was parked just to try to see if I can see anyone else in the vehicle. I couldn't. Another deputy ended up driving by it too. He couldn't see anybody else in the vehicle. Once Shondell came back out to the vehicle again, he went to go put the pump back up from gassing up the car, and we just boxed it in and took it down. And Shondell was just standing outside of the vehicle by the pump, didn't put up a fight, obeyed commands, got him in custody. They got the car, and Justin Johnson's inside the vehicle. Seats laid all the way back. He's kind of laying back. I don't know if he had been sleeping, but he was just sitting laid back in that vehicle eating a Subway sandwich.
Wow. And
pulled him out of the vehicle. He complied. He didn't say anything, really. Didn't say anything at all. We asked him what his name was. He didn't say anything. Sent some pictures to the text group, to the Memphis guys, and sent a few more with tattoos and stuff. And then after we sent those pictures, I think they confirmed, and then he gave up his name, Justin Johnson.
Right.
Hey, Chris, just want your listeners might be interested
Yes, he
in what
went
this
into
feels
shock.
like when you're working a big case
Yes,
like this.
that was going to be the next question.
Because the Marshall Citizen Task Force is great because I can pick up the phone and talk to someone in Indianapolis or Dallas or Atlanta or whatever, and their problems, my problems. And, you know, I can have a fugitive in the wind at 9 a.m. They can have them arrested before lunchtime.
Right.
However, where that sometimes is terrible or anxiety inducing is how this is a huge important case to us. Mike in Indianapolis, this is probably the first time he's hearing about it 5 minutes ago. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so we're not wanting to breathe down his neck, but we're also saying, hey, how's it going? You know, where are you at? What's
Right.
going on? You know what I mean? So like the song says, the waiting is the hardest part.
Yeah, I can actually remember. I mean, not many people remember if you gave me a date out of the just out of any
You're
calendar
welcome,
year, where were
Tierney.
you on this day 6 months ago?
Right.
I can tell you that day I was eating at Lost Pizza over in Memphis on Poplar. Just because I
Okay.
remember exactly where we were at, and I remember when they sent the picture, one of them, I looked at it and I was like, "That's him. That's absolutely him."
That pizza just got a whole lot better.
Oh yeah. We were ecstatic because we'd been working it, like I said, 60, 70 hours, 80 hours, sometimes a week, and it was getting tiring.
Right.
It did get tiring.
Yeah.
I know we got him on like a Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. By Saturday, my wife said I was laying on the recliner in the chair, and she couldn't even keep me awake because I was tired, just worn out from
Yeah.
it.
Paul, where were you?
I did. They do the hard work, so I don't know where I was, but they were working harder than me, I'm sure. It was good. I mean, we've been waiting and hoping to get him in custody because this, I've said, an important case for us, important case for Memphis family, everything like that.
Right,
So
right.
once he's in custody and we can get him here in Memphis, our prosecution will start.
And how long did it take before he went to trial?
I'm going to guess about 2 years to go to trial, maybe 2.5 years to go
Right.
to trial. We had a week-long trial and, presented the evidence, and he was convicted of all the charges.
Just out of curiosity, given the mountain of evidence you had, I mean, really compelling evidence, why would you take that to trial?
I think he saw that he had sort of limited options. A guilty plea would have meant at least 40 years, the next 40 years of his life in jail. I don't think he saw much of a difference between that and ultimately the life plus 20-something years that he got. Yeah, so he rolled the dice.
So he got life, and what does that mean?
He got life plus I think about 25 years. So life in Tennessee is 51 years.
Okay.
You have to do every day of it, and then 25 years after that. So around 70-something years. He's in his 20s now.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
No
Yeah.
time for any mitigating circumstance.
No parole or anything like that.
A lot of time to work on his rap game.
Yeah, he released a song from jail. So while this case was pending, he releases a rap song from jail that he recorded over the jail phone. That got him in a little bit of trouble with the jail, but not as much trouble as he was in, for everything else.
I guess you make the best of your 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so we had a trial. He did not testify at the trial. Cornelius Smith did testify, and like he had from the time he got arrested, he said that's me on the video, and that's Justin right there,
Right.
next to me. And we had video of Justin from throughout the day, including right after the shooting and including leaving town. We had testimony from the half brother that we've talked about in this podcast, and it was a strong case.
Right. In order to evade us, a lot of times he was sending things. You'd mentioned about his Instagram and stuff. He wasn't actually posting those. What he was doing was basically taking that information, sending it to somebody, and having them post it to his Instagram. A friend of his or his cousin or just an associate of his would actually be the one that would post it. So it was kind of hard to tell where exactly that was coming from.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So he gets convicted, and several months prior, Big Juke is killed.
Yeah, while Justin was waiting trial, Big Juke was the victim of a homicide here in Memphis.
Do we believe this is a retaliatory hit?
We don't believe it's a retaliatory hit from this incident. May have
Okay.
been a retaliatory hit for some other business that Juke had gotten himself into.
Interesting. And Justin Johnson requested a new trial.
Yeah, so that's typical. You have to. You get convicted and you have to ask for a new trial. I mean, that's what you do, and then you start your appeal process.
Okay.
And so he's just in the appeal process.
And that'll go on for
2 or 3 years. 2 or 3 years is for the appeals.
And just so our listeners know, what would be the basis of?
Did y'all hear what Hagerman just said? He says he believed that it was a retaliatory. Juke's murder was retaliatory for something else.
His appeal.
He's already filed his appeal. You would argue certain trial errors. I think that this is a very clean trial. I think I can't even remember the couple of issues that he's arguing. That the evidence was pretty overwhelming or was overwhelming. After this set of appeals, you even have another set of appeals where you can argue that your attorney was being ineffective and things like this. So The appeals process is something that happens in every sort of trial and conviction.
So you expect that will happen? I mean,
absolutely. I mean, yeah, he'll get his appeals.
Right. Right. Okay. Well done, everyone in this room, for bringing justice to young Dolph and the community.
And I tell you, this is typical of the marshals. When we reach out to them, they go gangbusters on these ones. We reach out to them on the violent cases, especially when we think our fugitive has fled, the jurisdiction, and they get all over it. So thanks, guys.
We have
for
a
the,
long
for
relationship, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Absolutely.
I did want to say that the multi-agency gang unit did. I have a contact over there, and they did work it to begin with. But when they realized that he was out of town and that we could reach out a little better, they were definitely they passed on everything they had done, or a lot of what they had done at least.
Right.
I can tell you they worked it pretty hard to begin with before they realized he's going to be out of town, and we need to so hand this over to the marshals to work.
I had gotten promoted to supervisor in August of 2021, and so
no need to brag.
Well, I just wanted to say that my boss, who already came with this story, brought me in after this arrest and said, hey, great job, and I told him, which I always say, my guys made me look good. Our task force, this is going to sound arrogant, they always do a great job.
Let me say this in closing, and this is just me. These guys on this Marshall task force do a hell of a job of capturing people. I just wish that the victim's family, could see and meet these guys and see the work that these guys do. They work crazy hours. They're up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. They usually don't shut it down till late at night, and sometimes they get called back, and it's just unreal. These guys do a lot of work, and they go after the most dangerous, violent criminals. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
They don't run from gun violence; they go to it.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys are the real heroes. I'm out the game now, but I can tell you these guys work their ass off. Excuse my French, but they work their ass off. And for the family, the victim family, to meet these guys, I think that's what's needed.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times what happened is homicide will call the victim family and say, hey, we got the guy in custody. But they never meet the soldiers that go out there and put their life on the line in order to get these people.
Right.
That's it.
Wow. Well said, sir. Again, thank you to Paul, Seth, Justin, Doty for coming on and sharing your story. Also, special thanks to Erica Williams from the Shelby County DA's office for helping put this whole thing together. And if you have a moment, this is the part I ask you to please go to Apple or Spotify and give us a 5-star rating and write a glowing review. And, of course, tell your friends about us.
Well, I'm definitely going to go over there and give them a glowing review. That was a really good interview. We got the opportunity to hear basically the insides of the Marshals investigation into finally catching up with Justin. Okay. So they said it looks like when they got, that's weird. You go to Indiana and then you get ready to circle Indiana and go right back to Memphis. So we thought that maybe they was going to hide him out, but it seems like to me he probably went that way to pick up some money, maybe some more money. And we find out that the vehicle that they was in, not the white vehicle, they had shot out the rearview mirror. So somebody had laid eyes on. You heard what Hagerman says, that Justin Johnson was in that vehicle. So this was right after Dolph was killed. He said Justin Johnson was in that vehicle with Shondell Barnett was driving. So he's pretty sure that it was some retaliatory stuff. So somebody was trying to lay hands on Straight Drop. Okay. Somebody was trying to get a hold to him. So maybe he just had to keep moving around, but that's weird to go to Indiana. And then as soon as you get there, you circle and coming right on back the Memphis way. The truck SUV. So it looks like he spent the most time in Atlanta after he left the Fort Worth area, which is where Shondell is from around the Fort Worth Ivan area. I think it's called the Ivan area around I think it's not too far outside of Dallas, the Fort Worth Ivan area. And so that's when they left there, it seemed like they spent more time um in Atlanta. Okay. So he done did the track hawk video. Then they say he did the track hawk video in Blackville. He did one video in Atlanta, did one in Blytheville, Arkansas, which is just a small, town. Nothing. I mean, nobody. If you didn't grow up there, you don't go there. Hey, Will Chill. So, I mean, all of this is interesting. It is, and to hear Hagerman kind of brush off, they asked, did Juke's death have anything to do with retaliations for young Dolph? He said, no, we believe it was retaliation for something else that Juke got himself into. So it sounds like to me they know what happened. Somebody done already told what happened to Juke. Okay. So it's probably all a matter of them proving it. Okay. It's all a matter of them proving it. So hold on, let me see where my phone is. I was going to, I can't even. He says he had to re-up with Zach. I don't know if he met up with Zach. I'm sure Zach wouldn't have. I don't think Zach would have met up with Straight Drop at that time. I don't think he would have. But he probably would have had somebody else too. Okay. I think that Zach would have had someone else too. So let me see if this phone will work. Hold on, you all. I don't think it's got enough juice on it. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. I'm gonna see if I can power up this phone so y'all can call in. But I don't think it's got enough juice on it. And the charger ain't working right for some reason. Damn, it went out just like I thought. It says retaliation for telling on Govan. I mean, it could have been. I mean, it's been a lot of different rumors. Govan says he knows, what happened to him. So it'll be interesting to see if it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button for me. I'm trying to turn on the phone so I can open up the line. Just give me a minute. Remy, stop. Hold on, you all. Give me just a second. And you all make sure y'all hit the like button. Be quiet, Remy. Hold on, y'all. I think I got it. I think I got it. Okay, so I'm getting ready to open up the lines. Whoever wants to call in, keep it on the topic. Remy, be quiet. Hold on. I'm getting ready to put the number up for you all to be able to call in. Okay, y'all, that's the number. If you all want to call in, y'all can call in. That's the number right there. 901-671-1412. Call in and tell me what you all think about hey Stanley. Call in and tell me what you all think about the interview that Hagerman and all of the U.S. Marshals did. Of course, I did read some paperwork on Govan's case. What do you all think about that as it relates to his attorneys are asking for him to be released on the $10,000 bond? What's up, Ace? And the federal prosecutors have written up a statement asking that he not be released. Okay, so call in, tell me what y'all think. Stephen, call in. I want to hear what you got to say. 901 67. Let me make sure that's the right number. 671 1412. I don't know. You know, Hagerman even said, you notice he didn't talk a lot about Cornelius. He didn't talk a whole lot about Cornelius at all. He didn't talk a whole lot about Cornelius. He just said that he didn't even talk about how many years Cornelius got at all. Okay, he didn't even talk about that. It was quite a few things that he kind of brushed over. I mean, he said he feel like they believe that Juke was taken out because of some other type of retaliation. She said, "Oh Lord, I missed out. I will replay this. I got home late." I think Juke told a lot. Teasy too. Yeah, I mean, with Teasy told, and you notice they didn't talk about Shondell being allegedly mistakenly released. Y'all notice they didn't talk about that at all. Shondell being allegedly mistakenly released from the Indiana prison, although he left with an ankle monitor on. He was mistakenly released, okay? Allegedly. And they didn't know where he was at, they say. Rose says Govan said on the interview that Teasy told, and he was disappointed at that. Well, Teasy told on him. Teasy told this is what I think, and I could be wrong, okay, but this is what I feel as it relates to Teasy. I believe that okay, Lord, give me how to put this, because I have to be careful about how I say stuff. So I believe that the reason Teasy was killed was because energy was put out to make certain people believe that Teasy had told on them too. When the truth of the matter is, Teasy didn't tell on anybody but Govan. He didn't. He was really loyal. He was very loyal to Straight Drop. Okay, he didn't tell on Straight Drop. They couldn't get him to tell on Straight Drop. They couldn't get him to tell on Devin Burns. Okay, but I think energy was put out to make people believe that he did, and that's why you hear Govan say that Teasy was killed by his friends. I think he's telling the truth. I think he's telling the truth, but I think there was an energy, a manipulation type energy that was put out there to make whoever his friends were believe that he had been telling on them, when the truth of the matter is he didn't tell on them. But I think he did. He did, and I think he did tell on Govan, because Govan said he told on him. So, unfortunately, I think that's what happened to Teasy. So, whoever took Teasy out, Govan gonna sooner or later tell it, because he already done told him, basically, by saying that Teasy, when he said Teasy was not taken out by ops. I mean, not unless he's trying to cover for Teasy's, not unless he's trying to cover for Teasy's ops, and I don't think he would do that. Do y'all think that he would do that? I don't think that he would try and cover for Teasy's ops. So, but that's interesting within itself. That's interesting within itself. Okay, guys, I'm back. Y'all heard the U.S. Marshals say they went to Straight Drop's baby mama house, and the her mama, his baby mama's mother and them constantly lied about some stuff, and then they finally got him to admit that he had been there. They love him. So they love him. So, I mean, what they did establish is they will try and protect him if necessary. I'm thinking about Howard Barnett now. Hi, thanks for calling Real Talk with Tamra.
Hi, Tamra. It's Steven. How are you?
What's up?
So let me ask you this, because I heard this in the beginning. I actually posted this in the chat too. For all the people that doubted you, like, what are they going to say now that Hagerman and everybody else there are calling CMG Gotti's label instead of Jip? Because we didn't hear Jip's name not one time, like in the beginning.
Right. They barely brought up. You notice he put a lot of emphasis on that Dolph wanted to be independent. He wanted to build his own stuff. He's basically saying he was killed because he didn't want to sign with Gotti.
Yep, and that game expert was asked, can calling yourself the king of members and making songs get you killed? He said absolutely.
Right.
Nobody ever called Jip the king of members, not one time.
Not one time.
So I just want people to point that out. They starting to give away little more nuggets now. You just got to pay attention to what they say. But Jip's name is this ain't court. This ain't court. They can tell the truth now. Ain't got nothing to do with Jip. I just wanted to point that out for all the people in the bushes that have been hating for all these years. Talking about you don't know what you're talking about. Apparently you do. That's it.
Okay. All right. Good night. Anybody else want to call in? The number is 901 671 1412, of course. Quit had court today. I thought the next time he had court was in August. I didn't know that. Somebody said Quit had court today. Oh, are you asking a question? I think he has another court date in August. Clarinetta says, hello, kings and queens. Anybody else want to call in? That was very interesting. That was a really good podcast too. The name of that podcast is, let me see. It's on iHeart. Let me see if I got it up still. Chasing Evil. That's the name of it, Chasing Evil. And that was very interesting. And he had a very good ensemble there. Like everybody that were key players in the case, except for it was so many darn homicide investigators, but they can't go on podcasts like that, not while they are still there. So yeah, you all call in. Let's hear your perspective. Call in and let us know what y'all think about the podcast as it relates to this. I just can't get over Hagerman saying that they don't believe Jukes Unaliving had anything to do with Young Dolph. It was retaliation for something else that he got himself caught up in. Wow. Cypress, I'm surprised. I don't think I've seen Cypress in here tonight, you guys. You all make sure you all hit the like button. Please like, share, and subscribe. Call in to the show. You don't have to be scared to call in. Anybody is welcome to call in. I don't have no issues with whoever it is that call in, as long as you're respectful. Hey, yours truly, Toya. As long as you all are respectful, Yeah, I'm not gonna be surprised if one day y'all don't look on the I got a feeling that somebody is trying to get them to I got a feeling that somebody is trying to get them to solve Big Juke's unaliving. Okay, somebody has definitely, they've definitely, in order for Hagerman to get it, that means that, or to know anything about, well, I mean, it happened right before Juke was indicted, so of course he would know the ins and outs of it, and I'm sure the investigators on the case has talked to him about the intel that they've gotten, and I'm sure they probably do know what has happened to Juke. You heard Quet say the police absolutely know what happened to him. So somebody has told them what happened. I don't know how Quet know the police know, but I mean somebody has told the police what happened to him, and or rumors of what they heard happened. I don't know whether they're trying to divert blame. I mean, but I'm sure that it's being investigated. I don't know if any, they just haven't been able to. Um, yeah, when Hagerman said that, he says, "I don't think Juke died from retaliation of Dolph. I think it was retaliation for something else. We think," he said, "we think it was retaliation for something else that he got himself caught up in." He said, "Oh, he said, quit the police." M. Rose says, "Quet placed himself at the same." But back to Teasy, back to CEO Teasy. Like, I believe Teasy was made to believe that. I mean, I believe that whoever these people were that took Teasy out, if this is the case, and I can only draw this conclusion based on what Quet said. Quet says Teasy was not killed by no ops. So maybe they thought that Teasy was telling on all of them, and I think I hope, the only thing I could say is I hope the people closest to Teasy didn't take him out, because from my understanding, Teasy was very loyal to those True Mafia guys. He told on Quet, but he didn't tell on Straight Drop. He was very loyal to him, and he was very loyal to like Devin Burns and the rest of them, because they was trying to get Devin, and Teasy wouldn't tell, So from my understanding, but he did cooperate as it relates to Quet. Um, so I really hope that it's not true what Quet said, that his friends took him out. Lord, I hope that's not true. McNamus is that man had a life sentence over his head, beat the trial, and still can't stay out these folks' way. When you beat a trial as big as Young Dog, if you lucky enough to get off, okay, what you do is you keep your head down and stay out of the way. I don't know why he couldn't do that. I don't, for the life. I think I'm gonna tell y'all why I feel like Quet couldn't do that. I think Quet wanted to get revenge on a lot of people. I think he felt like he had did a lot for a lot of people, and this was his opportunity. He knew that when nobody was gonna give him no more hits. I don't think the True Mafia boy is stupid enough to take a hit from him. Okay, and give him let him shave some points off of whatever the money is. All the day of that is over. Not unless they want a federal, not unless they want a life sentence, and I don't think they want that. But I'm talking about of them doing hits and getting away with it. But I think that's what I hate that happened to Teasy. I know Teasy was not like this innocent person, but I don't think that he deserved to die. I don't think he deserved to die. Um, and it's so unfortunate because whoever lured Teasy to where he was at, he was able to be lured because he probably didn't think that the people that he had protected would do anything to him. Now, I don't think Quet could have lured Teasy to where he was at. Teasy knew he was telling on Quet. So Quet could not have lured him to his death. But maybe some people that he had would think would not do anything to him because he didn't roll over and tell on them, but he not knowing that they had been made to believe that he had told on them. I believe Teasy murder gonna be solved out the while because Quet won't it solved. Because Quet look at it this way. Let's just say, I'm not saying it went like this, but let's just say, for instance, Quet manipulated some of them dudes into thinking that Teasy was telling on them. And so that they could get Teasy out of the way because he knew Teasy was going to tell on him. Okay, or was telling on him. Okay. And I'm just saying, for instance, I mean, this is hypothetically, and maybe he wasn't the one that pulled the trigger. You know, manipulation is the name of the game for a lot of these older dudes. Well, now he can dangle, even though he manipulated them into doing it, so Teaser could be out the way and not tell on him. He knew all the time he wasn't telling on Straight Drop and Devin Burns, and because somebody told me he wouldn't tell on them. He wouldn't Straight Drop, Devin, and the rest of them truly was. He wouldn't tell nothing on them. When he was asked, he wouldn't tell nothing on them. Okay, so maybe he was, maybe some guys was manipulated into believing that, you know, he in the paperwork, he telling on everybody. Quet the type, Quet low down. Quet the type. Well, he wasn't the one that pulled the trigger. He done manipulated some folks into pulling the trigger. Now he could dangle over their head. I knew you took Teasy out. And I tell on you, even though he manipulated them into doing it. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not saying that's what happened, but when you hear him get on there and say, not unless he's lying, he could be lying. Well, he said 2 times Teaser was not killed by no ops. He said it one time on the show, he said Teaser wasn't killed by ops. And then he got on his Facebook page and said he said Teaser wasn't killed by ops. It was friendly fire. When police term friendly fire is by another police officer. It's by your people that's right next to you. When they say friendly fire, that means that when it's another police officer, it's usually a mistake. I don't think it was a mistake with Teasy because the word is that they was chasing him. Whoever it was, they was chasing him. So it had to have been the element of surprise. So I don't know. But I'm sure the police know that too. Tease's murder. I didn't think that I gotta be honest. I didn't think that they was gonna solve Juke's murder, but hell, it seemed like he was gonna get solved before Teasy. And I know Teasy and Jeremiah Taylor's murder, you know, I knew those would be solved eventually. Well, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I promise you, I didn't believe I never would have believed that Teasy's friends killed him. And Quet basically said his friends killed him. Do y'all think he lying when he said that? Because I thought Quet and Teasy and them they hung around the same people. Why would he say that? Do y'all think he telling the truth? Because I don't know. Why would he tell on the people that he hang around? 2, he hung around the same people as Teasy. Positive Vibe says she believes he's telling the truth. They said Juke T. I think they probably at this point closer to solving Juke murder than it's some people that won't Juke. It seemed like to me it's some blackmailing going on somewhere. I'm telling you now, it's some blackmailing going on. Juke and teasing murder, what Jeremiah's murder. I don't know if it's true, but the rumor is them true. Some of them Truly boys killed Jeremiah. I don't know if it's true. If it's a lie, that police. It was told. That's what was told to the police. But now let me just say this: I knew that Tease's murder at some point would be solved, but I didn't think that Juke's would. But it seems like Juke is top of the list now. I think Quet won't Juke's murder solved. But Mr. N, according to Mr. N, y'all heard what Mr. N said. He says that he don't believe that Quet is going to tell who killed Juke because according to Mr. N, and y'all heard Mr. N was on the show the day before yesterday, and he said this before. He said Quet is never going to he's never going to tell who killed Juke because if he tell who killed Juke, he has to tell on himself, and he's not going to do that. He said the exact same thing as it relates to Teasy. He said he's not going to tell on the other boy either because he's going to have to tell on himself. He says right now, all he looking at is 4.5 years. Why would he go and implicate him and tell on somebody else knowing that he would be he would have to implicate himself and be looking at a life sentence. He's not going to do that. When people throw stuff into the atmosphere, these are dudes that are out in the street. Hell, they know stuff that we don't know. I listen to what they say. And he boldly said it. And he said it matter of factly. He said, no. That's not going to work. Quet is never going to tell who killed Juke and Teaser because he'd have to tell on himself. He's not going to do that. Whatever that means. Whatever that means. But I mean, we just heard Hagerman. Hagerman already got the word on what happened to Juke. So Quet was right. Quet said the police know what happened to Juke. He don't know why they're not going and arresting the people. Hell, you just heard what Hagerman said. He said it didn't have nothing to do with Dolph. It was retaliation for something else. The DA of Shelby County just said that as it relates to Juke. Interesting to say the least. Interesting. Now, Quet could have just been talking, because that gets him invited to more shows if he puts that into the atmosphere. But I can guarantee you the law enforcement knows whether he's lying or not. We don't. We can speculate, but law enforcement knows what's the truth and what's not the truth. And it seems like right after he put that out there about Juke, they had an urgency to want to arrest him. Hello?
What's going on, AT?
Hey, Ace, what's going on?
Man, it ain't no coincidence, Miss T, that nigga said what he said on the interview. Go get locked up in that jam. Now these folks coming out with an update. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth?
That man, it just, you know what I'm saying? For him to come out and boldly just bring that back up, you know what I'm saying, with that name on the interview, you ain't said nothing since you beat your child about it, and then you knew them folks were gonna come get you, so it's like, let it out. He on some Keep It D type shit, man. That man, him and Keep It D, they mirror on the wall. That's all I had wanted to put into it. From what it sounds like, it sounds like he could be working, if anything. And if he's not working, that's what it looked like.
If he's not working, he's definitely trying. If he's not working, he's into it with the people. He knows the people that actually took him out, and he might be into it with them, and he's trying to taunt them.
Right. But miraculously, you had an interview, said the same thing that the DA of Shelby County come out and say, come on, man, we just got to put two and two together. If it walk like a duck, it's a duck. And then you might need to hold a wing to that duck while I pluck them. Nah, but that's just what it is. Nah, but I've been told you how, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing. You know, I'm more disappointed in Quit because, you know, he an older guy straight out of Orange Mound, Memphis, Tennessee. And, you know, you just won't get it right, bro. You just won't get it right. And if you beat your trial and you supposed to be boss car and parlay, hey, man, he couldn't even give us a parlay ticket. You know what I'm saying? So, and before he got locked up again, he couldn't even give me a winning parlay ticket. He gonna be bet with Quick. That's all I'm saying. He disappointed a young nigga like me, even though I never was on his side. You know, it's just day. You know, we him. Man, he just won't get right. They need to go and get him a 5-piece. If I'd go and get him 5 years. Don't give him 5 years.
The truth just says several people know the truth. I told y'all the day after the interview that it was bad. And I tell you. I mean, we just heard the DA that would prosecute, but like I said, the revolution won't be televised this time. I don't think Hagerman gonna be prosecuting nothing else as it relates to any of this debacle. It's straight fed.
And that man in there eating hibachi grill, he got something brewing up. And when he came out and said that on the interview, and they called talking about he got a stalking charge on Fed, I said, oh yeah, I already knew what time it was, Richie. I ain't gonna even lie. I already knew. And then miraculously, these people come, they got you caged up. Now they always got some sprinkles and sugar and tea when you involved. You know what I'm saying? Man, come on, man. That man, he's a killer informant, and they got him. They need to go and give him a 5-piece.
You notice they didn't talk a lot about him either, did they? See, in Paul Hagerman's case, you don't listen to just what he says. Pay attention to what he don't talk about. He didn't talk about Cornelius. He didn't talk about Govan. He didn't really talk a whole lot about Juke.
Yeah. He didn't. You know what I'm saying? He didn't. All the way up to the end, then he tried to give some little clues and hints. But man, you know, it just don't. You know, he just ain't gonna never learn his lesson. It's like you need a, you know what I'm saying? No folks. I mean, he done did time. It's like he just won't never get right. Just never learn his lesson. It's crazy.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I think Govan was mad at some people he talked about. Like, I think he stayed in the media because he talked about how people turn their backs on them. I think he was wanting to get in the media. He didn't know how unforgiving though the people are. You know what I mean? So it didn't turn out how he wanted. So I think he thought he was going to build up popularity and he was going to come back. All those people he felt like turned his back on them, like Lil Flip and all of them. Yeah. He was going to extort them. Because I think he probably got a lot of dirt on him, to include Gotti. You heard him say if he was Gotti, he would have done reached out to him. Why in the hell Gotti got to reach out to him and he say he don't know him?
They playing chess, you know what I'm saying? I say killing informant is diabolical for real. But what I'm saying, they playing chess and they always gonna paint a picture look like, oh, he got a stalking charge, he got this. He really sounds like a danger to society. For real, you talking about blowing up a woman's house or car or whatever. got her scared for her life. You feel me? And then it just don't look right. It don't look right. It don't matter if it was me. It don't matter if it was any one of these guys in the chat. It don't matter. It just right is right, wrong is wrong. You feel me? Come on, man.
Yeah.
And I'm 32. You know, I'm 32 years old saying that this man 50. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Like, you just, that's, come on, bro. That's annoying. That's not even attractive. You feel me? Like, y'all women ain't going, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. So why we giving this man money in interviews? You know what I'm saying? That's why I say people love fake shit. You know what I'm saying? People love fake shit.
So do you think the Fed's gonna try to hide him, or you what you think they're gonna do? You think they're gonna try to give him the max?
Yeah, he's definitely in witness protection. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely witness protection. They let him out. He's gonna have a post MPD at the mailbox. Whenever he get off, another one gonna pull up to the mailbox. Yes. I know how they get down. And a high profile nigga like him, he definitely gonna have MPD at his mailbox. Every 8 hours. Still same. Yeah.
Why you think he said Teaser wasn't killed by ops? Why you think he said that? Because him and Teaser mess with the same people.
Because Mitty, when it first went down, you've been doing this for 5 years. When this first went down, it's already been alleged that came out of Orange Mouth. That came out of Orange Mouth.
But him and Teasy hang around the same people. Why would he say that though? Why would he say it?
Because it just he knows. And then on top of that, it's that common sense. How somebody, the only person that knows that you bagged into your mama's house in a rental, in a little rental SUV, no matter if you're trying to blend in or not, only person people will know that is somebody that's close to you. I don't care who it is.
I know, but people can speculate that. But what I'm saying is, for Govan to say that, it's almost like he's telling on the people that he hang around. Him and Teasy hung around the same people. Like he messed with them same little dudes.
Oh, he's dangerous. Like I said, that's why I say he's dangerous in a way. He like a grenade. He don't care who he turn on. He don't care. Like if he get in some hot water, he got something to tell you. He got something to tell you. You know what I'm saying? That's just what that's why people don't like so-called rats. You know what I'm saying? It's good to stand up and, you know what I'm saying, tell if something going on in the community, stand up for women and children, you know what I'm saying, the righteous way. But something like in his situation, he's dangerous. You gotta go and cut his head off because up here he playing games. Every scene and scenario he around, he down there just digging up info to go back and tell. Them white folk. And that's just what it is. I don't trust him. I don't trust him, man. It's a shame. It's a shame because he's from the city. And he really supposed to be an OG. You know what I'm saying? Your name supposed to be stamped, but now your name ain't even really dead no more, bro. Watch those. Talking to old women and shit, bro. Come on, bro. I thought it was Miss T. Miss T, I ain't gonna lie, I thought it was you. Y'all gonna make me turn up, man. I thought it was you. I ain't gonna lie.
No, it wasn't me. Lord have mercy. Oh, Lord, thank you. You know how crazy I get if I think anybody trying to do something.
But I didn't expect him. I didn't, think too much on it because I was listening to you the whole time. And the two of you trying to wonder what the heck we got. I was like, shit, man, cyberbullying. Shit, oh yeah, Miss T said she was gonna turn that clipboard in.
I'm Oh no, it wasn't me. I think Justice for Dog be saying that all the time. He be I don't know if he be joking or what. He always say, "Quit got a fascination with you because he want to kill you." I said, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus.
Yeah. Man, I ain't gonna lie, like, yeah, man. He a dangerous man. He a smooth criminal. I tell you that. He a smooth criminal.
Well, ain't nothing nice because we saw him sit up on the internet. I forget who it was. I believe it was Devin Burns, and he basically doxed him, like for Trap Lord Ross. Trap Lord Ross. He was on, and Devin Burns called him. He basically said he was the head of True Mafia. Now you know the feds was watching. He the leader of True Mafia, wrote all the laws, and said that Teaser didn't have the heart to kill nobody. Devin Burns taught Teaser everything he know. And he said, they said I'm the head, but no, this is who the head is right here. But he tried to put it in a way like he's trying to big up Devin Burns all the time. He throwing him up on the bus and put the feds on the board.
Yeah. That's exactly what he doing. And ain't nobody too much to tell on. Y'all done took all the big people out. For real. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, they always say somebody that's obsessed with somebody, you know, unaliving, or they're a serial unaliver. They just hold on. They can't, you know, it's like he can't let go. You feel me? If you ain't have nothing to do with dog, man, you could have carried that. Man, I was expecting him or any person carry themselves different the way he carried himself. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, so you know, it is what it is. He slipped through the cracks and he got back into them folks' system. So, you know, I don't think they're gonna play with him.
No, they're not. I don't think they plan on trying to play with him. Yeah, I think they're gonna do him dirty. I don't. You see the DA, the marshals, all of these people get together and do a podcast, and it's out there. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say anything because I know they lawyers and stuff be looking at this stuff. So because I helped the, you know, I said a lot of stuff that helped the defense the last time, so I ain't get ready to put nothing out there. But I really believe that they really, what's the word that I'm looking for? They tying up every crack so that he can't get through, and they playing just as dirty as the defense attorneys would play. I could see it already. They playing dirty. They playing just as dirty as the defense attorneys.
Yep. They playing chess now, and then it's all finna hit the fan all over again. For them to bring, still sitting down talking about it. Yeah, they got something blowing up in the crock pot.
The truth says he definitely got several people he could possibly help the feds reel in.
Hey, man, shout out to your chat, man. Shout out to your people, your supporters, your fans, your day one, the subscribers, man, just the new people that even coming in and listening, you know. If don't nobody know me, I'm Ace, you feel me? So I've been rocking with Miss T since that day. So, you know, and that's just what it is, man. I'm proud you be doing your thing, Miss T.
Thank you, darling.
You still be, it ain't even just about just the Dolph case. It's just so much that happened in the city, and, you know, for you to speak out and speak up about certain things, like, I salute you for real.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. But it's the people that keep you going, Missy. It's the people too, you know.
Right. It's you. It's you all that y'all make the channel what it is. You all, you and everybody in this chat makes the channel what it is.
Right. I sure think I was like, man, I'm gonna go call Missy, call, check, you know what I'm saying, tap in. I ain't really got too much, you know, to give, but I'm glad I got it off my chest of what we went over tonight, because that's just what it sounds like with that nigga, you know. Man, you know what I'm saying? Y'all, even if they here listening, man, no, man, if he a threat to society and he want to keep putting his hands on women and whatever he got going, no, he need to pay his consequences for real. give him a little 2-piece. You know what I'm saying? Make him go work in the kitchen or something. He need to learn his lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Because they let this man come out and he ain't did nothing for real that was helpful to the youth to not go through what he went through. You know what I'm saying? He ain't do nothing but go smile with Charles and White and Adam 22 in them and crack little laughs and jokes, bro. Straight out of Memphis, and you playing, bro. You really in error. Somebody need to put this nigga in error. What's going on? This smoking crack. What's going on? This nigga in error, man. But it is what it is. I said what I said. I know they rich, so they know what I'm talking about. That nigga in error, y'all. Shit, for real. He in error. That is not how you supposed to carry yourself. All right. But anyway, Miss T, I'm gonna let you go. I enjoy calling in. You know, hey, Miss T, you know I call you on the little hush and talk to you and check on you.
Yeah, you do.
I'm glad you let me in. You know, you let me in the game, coach. I salute you, and hey, it's much love. But keep your magnified glass on that nigga.
Okay, I will.
And walk downtown and talk to them pretty women like Sergeant Swain and see what that nigga doing in there.
He ain't over there. He in the feds.
Oh, he in the feds.
Yeah.
I mean, Memphis got the feds. I mean, shit. Damn. He in the feds over a smoking cyberbullying. This man that picked up a fed case.
The truth said he ain't finna make it in or out. That's the word I got. So it don't even matter. Oh my God.
Yeah, I really think, and then one more thing to add to it, I really think he done. I think he done for a while because for them, they got some evidence on him. They were waiting on him because when you beat a trial like that, they be waiting on you to steal a Snicker out the store. If they don't care if you, they be waiting to catch you doing something. Man, it just ain't gonna look good, man. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I learned about the court system, niggas in their 40s, I'm on my way. I got 8 votes. I'm almost there. But niggas in their 40s and their 50s and 60s, they ain't got a chance in hell in that court system. And they know what I'm talking about. Because they look at that shit serious on something like, man, damn, bro, you a overgrown ass man, and you don't get it. You still don't get it. So they not going to play with you.
The truth said I was advised to cut him loose and stay out the way. It's out of my hands. I did everything I could.
Yeah, man, them folks ain't playing. They ain't gonna play with me. I don't play with them. That's why I go to work every day and stay out the fight. You know what I'm saying? Tell my people I'm doing good just to say I'm on the grid, but man, life. Shit, I can't. Man, I don't know. I don't know, Miss T. It's just a different time we living in. I bet you be sitting back looking at this and be thinking the same thing. I mean, life's always great, but it's just a different time we living in.
It's absolutely true. It definitely is.
I bet you be reminiscing. Back probably in the 80s when you was all sexy talking Gabrielle Union fine. You heard me?
It was a lot when I was growing up in the 80s. It was definitely a lot better. We were able to be children.
Yeah, man. Look,
people cared about their own life. These folks now don't even care about their own life.
And y'all had good soul music too. Good soul music. These kids go to prom and they dying at prom because they trying to outshine each other, pulling up in Rolls Royces, man. Hey, man, y'all doing too much. Y'all really think y'all grown. You know what I'm saying? They different. They a little different. Hell, shit. You know what I'm saying? But hey, life, and we still just got to be there for them and guide them the right way. But it's just a different time. But like I said about the music, you know, I was listening to that dog earlier. You know what I'm saying? Grinding. You know what I'm saying? Not getting stuff done. getting them checks in, working. But man, Dolph music is positive though. He make you want to go get it.
Yeah, get paid. Get paid, young nigga, get paid. That's right. His music was very motivational. And it is, you think about that. Rule number one, get the money. Rule number two, don't forget to get the money. So that's you always keep the bottom line. My dad used to always say, what's the bottom line? What's the bottom line? The main thing, my favorite quote is, the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is the bottom line, and that's getting your money. Okay. And if you do it the right way, you ain't got to make no compromises or go take no hit money or nothing like that. You stay about your business and keep the main thing the main thing.
Hey, Miss T, when you out there living right and you got that, no matter if you got your truck and trailer and you got your clipboard and your invoice ready and shit, man, you ride by the police all day with no seatbelt on, man. Cause they see you working. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, you gotta do something. You gotta be doing something with your life. No matter if you owning a business, working, you gotta be doing stuff out here people can honor. We understand the rap music, rap game. That's always been a dark cloud in industry anyway. But our people, black excellence, as they say, and our culture has a lot to do with, hip hop and music and, you see you know how it is. It's songs, do some music in our life that help us get through life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It came out in a certain year. You be like, oh, I remember that year that song came out. So it's just all about making good music. But man, I just hate it got to the point, man. They taking so many greatness out. Like when I see like how Dolph went out, it wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's wrong.
They did Dolph dirty. They did him dirty.
It ain't just Dolph. It's many others. But we just talking about Dolph because Dolph represents Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he would say, yeah, he born in Chicago. It don't matter. That man been there since he was 2 years old. He been in Memphis since he was 2 years old. That man is straight.
He was a Memphian. When he got his first license and ID, it was in Memphis. He's a Memphian. All day, every day.
Yeah. So, bro, definitely a native. He put on for the city. He gave back to the community. And if anybody want to still hate that, then they just don't. They ain't gonna get it. They part of the problem. You know what I'm saying? And it is, and then he also represented independency. So, meaning, man, you can get your own. You ain't gotta get the next man rich. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when you get the next man rich, they laugh and feed you crumbs.
Mm-hmm.
And think shit sweet. Sometimes you gotta bite your tongue though until you get your own. But man, independency, having your own is the best way to go. And we all got that capability. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is, Miss T. I ain't gonna hold you because I know somebody else probably want to call in. And man, ain't nothing but love,
Well, I appreciate you for calling in, Ace, and thank you for being a day one.
Oh, for sure. We locked in, Miss T.
We locked in. I'm telling you.
All right, now I'm gonna let somebody else call. I've been on this 25 minutes. Ain't been that long, I ain't been rocking out that
long. Well, I appreciate you for calling in.
All right, Miss T, I'm gone.
All right, that's a day one right there. What do they call it? A1 day one. Magname Ace, he always rock out. Shout out to Ace. Anybody else that want to call in, you all can go ahead and call in. The number is up there on the screen, 901-671-1412. Derek the Truth says, I don't wish unaliving on nobody, but it is that is inedible. Oh wow. So it sounds like it's a lot of stuff going on. I don't either. Y'all know that I'm very tenderhearted. I don't wish for anybody to take him out. I don't even want nobody to take Gotti out. I just want Gotti to go to jail for what he has done. But I definitely would never recommend anybody kill him. That's evil. I don't recommend nobody kill them. Period. Um, I mean, I'm in shock. Listen, y'all. So y'all heard Paul Hagerman say tonight that when Shondell Straight Drop went to Dallas, Shondell is from the Irvin area. It's the Ivan or the Irvin. I forget. It's the Ivan or the Irvin, or whatever it is around Dallas. Around it's the Ivan or the Irvin and Fort Worth. And y'all heard them say that Shondell got a vehicle, and when the vehicle was shot, somebody it was a bullet hole in it. So not the white Benz. This was a vehicle that Shondell was driving. So that means somebody was trying to they laid eyes on Straight Drop and shot the car up after he killed Dog. And shoot, I don't know if that happened in Memphis or in Dallas. Because they said when they got Shondell, it's Irvin. Okay. It's Irvin, Texas. Okay. So when they got Shondell, the Shondell car had a bullet hole in it. They said the rearview mirror had been shot out. And you heard Hagerman brushed over that too. He said, well, we don't know what happened, but Justin Johnson was in that car. So he was letting you know that they were shooting at Straight Drop. He says, you ain't wishing death on somebody who got a death wish. He chased it so it follows him. M. Rose says they shot at Dolph. Cornbread said it on the stand too. Happened in Memphis too. Derek says, M. Rose, I don't want to call and get to talking too much. I'm going to just say in the chat. The truth, I don't bite. You could call in. Anuti says all they want to do was lead Dolph. All they had to do was lead Dolph alone. Nobody has actually, gained anything from Dolph being dead except for Gotti. Okay, Gotti and maybe Head. I ain't saying Head involved. I'm just saying Head ain't passed the smell test. Him or Moneybag or Zach Randolph. Okay, those three has not passed the smell test. But Gotti is definitely the ring leader of this. We all know that. Unfortunately, his brother, who was in the street, got caught up in this being loyal to his brother. Because I Dolphin and Juke had a relationship, so I don't necessarily believe that Juke just wanted him dead. Because when they was that was totally Gotti's energy. Because when Juke and Dolph were cool, Gotti still had them dudes before Juke ever even got involved in this. Gotti had them dudes shooting at Dolph trying to kill him. So that was the Gotti's energy all the way through from A to Z. Juke got caught up in his loyalty to his brother, unfortunately. Tamara, a couple lives ago, you said it best. Dolph was taken out. It was just pure D jealousy. It was pure D. You heard Paul Hagerman. He says that Dolph wanted to stay independent. He wanted to build his own legacy. Hagerman is adamant about that. He's telling y'all why he was killed. Then you heard the gang unit guy say that Yes, people will kill you if you proclaim yourself the king of Memphis, unfortunately, especially when you're trying to portray yourself to an audience. You're trying to portray yourself to an audience whether you are or not. And you got somebody saying that you are not the king. And this is how he makes his living. And he did the very ultimate, not ultimately, but ultimate. Superfly Kick says, I'm willing to bet that Juke's situation has to do with what happened at Privé where people were unalive. Why? Okay, I mean it's possible, but why would you think? Why? So why would those guys want to take Juke out? Let's just say, for instance, that it was that. Why do you all think that they would want to take him out? Those guys that was at the Privé that when that shooting happened that night, and that was very gruesome. Like that was really gruesome to me. Seeing them people get shot and stuff on that lot. Since those guys have sons that are my son's age, their fathers was hit with the switch. It was online. Oh wow. It maybe it did have something to do with that. Who knows? Oh wow. Let's see. It's 267 people in here, and I can't get anybody to call in. That's cool. At least hit the like button. Let's see how many likes we got. Make sure you all hit the like button. Please like, share, and subscribe. You all run the likes up. Okay, actually, I was just looking at how many people is really in here in the backstage. It says it's 486 people in here in real time. So you all make sure y'all hit the like button. We should have 486 likes. Derek says, first off, which group? Because I doubt it if it was DH boys. Um, but I did hear that ROC family wasn't pleased with what happened to him at Privé. Y'all do know who they are. I don't know who they are. I don't know who DH boys or ROC boys is either. I don't know. Um Emerald says, Miss T trying to call. You trying to call? Okay. Do you got the number? I'll put the number back up. 901-671-1412. Derek says Rock was one of the fellas that got unalive. Hello?
about the situation. And my thing is, how do people sit around and worry about somebody else and want to take them out and kill them and don't hurt them?
That's all you got to
You know what I'm
do.
saying?
That's all.
It don't make,
All they had to do was not think about it.
but that's what I'm saying. That don't make sense to me. You wonder. I mean, all you gotta do is say, "Well, damn, I know I don't like them. I don't fool with them, or whatever the case may be." All thing I gotta do is don't think about them and just get them out my head.
Well,
That's what I'm saying. You know, that's where it wouldn't have been nothing. But you wanted to do something to them because you couldn't let it go. And when you couldn't let it go, it's something. When you can't let stuff go, it got to be something wrong with you.
yeah, it's something wrong with you.
Because that man, if somebody apologizes, say, man, I'm sorry, man, let's let it go, let's move on. You like, no, that ain't fair, man.
Yeah, it's
What
some,
more
it's
you
some,
want
it's
from?
something wrong with them, especially
So
as it relates to words. Like, as it relates to words. So I mean, so but when it's jealousy involved, jealousy is a sickness.
it got to be, but I'm saying, but you can unjealous yourself. Only thing you do is don't watch the person up. This shit is, excuse my language, the stuff is so simple. People make stuff hard. That's all I'm saying. If you
Mm-hmm.
think about it, say, man, I'm going to sit with him. Only thing I do is don't watch him. If you don't like them, stay away from
Stay
them. That's
away
simple
from
because
them.
they're things. That don't make sense,
That's
man.
the
Why
more
you get so
logical
focused?
thing to do.
But that's what I'm saying. How it's so hard? What's wrong with just chilling out, man? The brother could have been still here doing his own thing. What's wrong with people? Why people can't do their own thing? Why we got to always be together to do something? Why I can't have my own ideas? Why I can't say, well, I want to do my own thing, man? That don't mean I hate you, bro. I just want to do something for myself. Why,
Well,
why, why I got to, this don't make sense, man. I don't know why when it comes to us as black people, we never can do something on our own. We always, and if you don't fool with somebody, then you become a target.
you
Why?
become a target.
Why I can't?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why I can't be to myself?
Well,
You
the
have to
Bible
correct.
says it. The Bible says that jealousy is as deadly as the grave.
I know, but it don't have to be. Because you don't have to focus on nobody but yourself. What's wrong with focusing on you? That's all I'm saying. Why people can't look at themselves and say, okay, man, let me do it. No, let me do it for me. Then let me do it myself. I can't be upset with him because his stuff together. You know
Because
what I'm
he
saying?
already had in that big head that he was going to take over the South. He thought that he was
Take
going to
over
be
what?
he thought that everybody was should be up under him. It's a sickness. It's a mental illness, if you ask
Man,
me.
that's stupid. That's TV. The Godfather, Scarface, them are movies. They're not real life. We got to stop looking at these movies as and try to determine it as real life to us. We got to stop that. Same with rap music. Them guys just making it's just a beat with some rams to it. That's all. We got to start looking at this stuff as real life, as reality. Because it ain't.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we losing our children. We losing our children to rap music. Don't nobody get out and say, okay, the police officer shot the little baby in Mississippi, okay. But don't nobody like River Al Sharpton, Benjamin Crump. They don't come out when it's black on black crime. I'm like, but why we speak out when somebody else do something to us? But when we do it to each other, don't nobody come out and say, hey man, I think this wrong.
I absolutely agree. They only come out when it's white on black, and it's way more black on black. So I mean, it don't make it any better if it's black on black. It's way more black on black. We got to do something about this black on black crime in our community.
Yeah, NAACP should come out. It should be the first one to come out when a black guy shoot a black guy. They need to come out with the suit song and say, man, we need to come together. This wrong. Y'all need to stop killing each other because we ain't no more than about 30 million. There's over 800 million white people in America, maybe 30 million blacks in America. Look at all numbers still low. It ain't a lot of us. And then we killing each other on top of it. So we don't think like that. You know? Like when you were
It's a
talking about
sad
Govan.
thing.
It is, man. Only thing Govan had to do was go sit his butt down. Hey, man, they gave you opportunity. They was hoping you go sit down because you said you were going to sit down, you were going to leave me. You promised them you was going to do all this wonderful stuff you was going to do when you beat this case. And you didn't do it. So you bring it on yourself. Sometimes it's good to just go sit down and don't say nothing, man. Shut your mouth, man. I don't know anything. But you can't do that, man, because you're trying to prove to who you trying to prove something to. Why black men always got to prove that they tough? Why we got to prove that we tough? What you want? Why we can't be just sweet, lovable people?
I agree.
Why can't I always be gangster? I'm a gangster, nigga. Where we get this from?
I don't know, but it's crazy though, isn't it?
Yeah, why I can't show compassion to my children and my friends? I mean, why I can't say I love the guy, man. He's a great, I got to tell you about him again. I got the thread. I'm sick of this stuff, man. And so we go to jail. We get all the Bible, all the Bible scriptures. When white folks got to stand in court, we plead for our lives. Tell the white folks, Revelation said in John's scripture. And I said, damn, but you didn't find the Bible before you shot them. Why you didn't find Christ before you killed them?
That's true.
Why when you get it from these white folks, you found Christ.
I agree.
It don't make sense. We need to sit down somewhere. I tell people that every day. I said, man, go sit down and leave people alone, man. People just want to work, make them a little money and go home, man. Ain't nobody out here trying to start no trouble and fight, man. I'm too old to be fighting, man. My feet bad, so I ain't trying to fight.
I know that's right.
Hey, go sit down somewhere, man. You young boy, go sit down. I don't know to be your daddy, boy. Leave me alone. You still don't want to be bothered. I ain't got old now, so I'm grouchy. No.
What area are you calling it? What area do you live in? Or did you grow up in?
I ain't grew up in Orange Mountain. I just moved over here.
Okay, it's nice over there in Orange Mountain now. They really building Orange Mountain up.
Yeah, it's okay. I ain't gonna say it's big. It'll do. I be in the house, man. I don't even go outdoors, man. I go out there to cut the grass, wash I come right on back in the house, man. I don't be out there talking to people because I don't know nobody. And I ain't trying to know nobody. People crazy now. So you think you talking to a good person? He crazy. You know what I'm talking about? So I ain't saying nothing. Nobody. I'm going to wash my truck, cut the grass. I'm going right on back in the house. I don't be outdoors, man, talking to people. I better want to look people in the eyes so they can't say nothing to me. I better want to bring my head up, make eye contact with them. Because I don't want them to ask me for money. Like somebody speak to you, they want $1. Hey, how you doing, man? You got $1? I said, that's why you spoke. Man, ain't got no $1. Oh, man, okay. I won't speak no more. You got to pay for everything you do now, Kelly. So I ain't got no money. So I'm like, I'm through speaking now. Everybody got an angle, man. I don't know where people coming from now. You just don't know. Your kid can ask for 50 cents, maybe snatch your whole wallet. You never know. You're like, damn, I'm going to give you 50 cents, man. You have to take my wallet. But you can't blame them, man. It's messed up out here. You know what I'm saying? So it's getting better and better, man. And I don't know if it's going to get any better, man. I really don't, tell them.
Well, I pray that it does.
I hope so, man. We're going to need more than some National Guard. We're going to send what you call them, the Marines and everything else, man. Because if they don't get a hold on them, man, it's going to be a terrible. You see, John Mill, I don't know why he left, but he wanted to get on down, so I don't know, man. It's a good city where it was a good city. It's still going to be a good city. It's just the people got to come together and make it a good city.
I agree.
We got to start killing each other. We got to start just loving each other and get off and teaching our kids right from wrong. And man, don't be out taking nobody's stuff that ain't yours. Leave it alone. And if you want some work for it, you don't got to sell drugs to have nothing. So we got to preach that message to our kids, especially our black children. We got to start with them first. They realize they're doing a lot of stuff they ain't got no do. And you ain't got to shoot nobody to become no man. And you don't have to go to prison to be no man. You can do that before you go. You can be a man before you go to prison. So you don't get your manhood going to no penitentiary.
I agree.
So erase all that stuff they told you. They messing your man up, man. So don't get off into shooting people and blowing their head off because anybody can pull the trigger. A little 10-year-old little girl can shoot a gun. Shooting a gun don't make you wrong. Man, taking on responsibility every day, getting up day in and day out to go to work, that would make you, man, that would make you wrong, man.
That makes you a man taking care of your business. I agree. What's your name, if you don't mind me asking? I'm Ted. Well, I appreciate you calling in. We're gonna let some more callers get in, but thank you for calling straight out of Orange Mound. I appreciate that. I'm trying to get the line to pop. That's all, Kelly. I said I got it popping now. You got it popping. I appreciate that. Thank you, darling. Those person that just called in, you called in twice. Call back in. The number thank you, M Rose, for the super sticker, and thank you Into for the super sticker. I appreciate it so much. Derek said the guys who did the shooting is from Dixie Homes. Lil Johnny and his brother. Did what shooting? M Rose. I knew all involved, the shooters and the unalive. The two unalive main. The two unalive main was from Bunker Hill and rock people from LMG. Did they arrest the guys that did that shooting at the Privé? Did they ever get convicted? Did they have a trial or anything? The truth says, the guys who did the shooting is from Dixie Homes, Lil Johnny and his brother. So the guys that did the shooting at Privé, are they in jail? Derek, the truth says, May was dating her and Johnny was her ex, but still smashing. She threw a party at Privé for Johnny that night. May was told not to come. Always over a damn woman or some money or a fragile ego. I tell you. So that's why that stuff happened at Privé. Oh wow. So the guys that did the shooting at Privé, are they in jail? I'm interested in knowing. If you all haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. Run the likes up. He says Juke instigated the situation. Hey, Super Yoda. When May got there, Juke instigated by saying, "Man, how you gonna let him take your girl?" And it started from that. Oh wow. Oh wow. So it was definitely egos. Oh, they're out on bond? Okay. Oh wow. That's interesting. Hmm. I mean, well, I mean, I wonder how much the bond was Two people was killed. Whew. Well, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Quit, quit won't, quit won't for it. Whatever happened to Juke, quit want it to be known. Now he said he didn't. He was mad at Teaser, but he wanted to solve what happened to Teaser too. He wanted to solve what happened to Teaser too. He says man got real bread, and his people do too. And a lot of people from Dixie's homes are behind it. Are behind it. My man in Rock was escorted out, and instead of leaving, they waited around for Johnny now, and it started back up in the parking lot. Oh wow. Oh Lord Jesus. Mm, mm, mm. That was a gruesome sight, Lord Jesus. Yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button. Um, oh, they said he said meant to say are gone behind it. Okay. Stanley says, remember there's no justice, just us destroying and killing each other. It's never ending cycle. So after more lives are lost and people die, it still won't solve anything here. Well, that's right. It does not solve anything. That's why I say the killing has to stop. I mean, even retaliatory situations don't solve nothing. What it does is it puts more people lives in danger. That's why I say it's got to stop. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button for me. If you haven't hit the like button, please do hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. I don't see where anybody subscribe tonight unless everybody that was on here is already subscribed to the channel. So please do subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support the channel, you could definitely hit up the Cash App. Also, you guys, I do have a praying line. Of course, I have already put that up there. If you're up in the mornings at 7 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time, go to my Real Talk with Tamra like page on Facebook. On Facebook and Real Talk with Tamara. Hold on one second. Move. And it gives you all of the times. All of the time zones are up there, of course. Y'all, that's the number that's up there. So if you're up at 7 o'clock in the morning, like getting ready for work or whatever, make sure you join in on the prayer line. Derek said my son's cousin was the one shot in the leg in the parking lot by Baldhead that night too. He went to jail with Johnny and them. They out fighting it now. Okay, so they out fighting it. Are they trying to say that allegedly these are the people that did this? I don't know. They already fighting something. Surely they wouldn't be dumb enough to go and kill Jook, and they already fighting some murder charges. Hell, they ain't trying to sign up for the death penalty. I don't know. They done put I gotta say they done put Jook's murder on everybody. But I do believe that Quet them really know who it is. I believe that. If Quet had stayed out a little while longer, he was gonna tell who did it. It's a bald head is the bodyguard that should have been with Jook at the repast. They said Quet has to tell now. I don't know. I just believe Quet was trying to tell it. I don't know if it sounds like extortion. I tell you. They said Baldhead was with Jook at the repass. Hmm. I mean, Jook's unaliving was very brazen too. Hold on, you guys. Hold on. Give me 1 minute. Okay, y'all, I'm back. It said, Derek, if he let you get on a live, why is God trusting him? Says on this internet, people can be whoever they want to be, and the internet has made Quit out to be the big bad wolf. And I'm here to tell you, he ain't never nothing in Memphis. It would have been an all-out cowboy and Indian shootout with bald head. He cold. It sounds like to me. It sounds like to me like it was the element of surprise. It sounds like to me that it was the element of surprise. Like if just like it was with Dolph. But Dolph's brother went for it to be an ambush like that. He immediately started shooting. He just didn't have a Draco. Okay, so I think Dolph's brother reacted faster than anybody else because especially in that little bit of time, what you do is you have you go into shock. Hey Chelsea, it sounds like to me maybe that's kind of what happened with Big Jug. It was like a element of surprise because when stuff like that happens, people kind of freeze up. Lord have mercy. Mm, I tell you. All right, you guys, I'm getting ready to get off of here. I got some journals that I got to turn in before 11:59. I wish I could stay on longer, but I got to finish my schoolwork. I enjoyed being on here with you all tonight. I've been on here with y'all almost 3 hours, longer than I had anticipated. But I appreciate the support. If anybody wants to buy me like some food tomorrow, you can send it to my Cash App, $ Real Talk with Tamara. I would really appreciate that. I appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure you all join in on my praying line in the morning. I'll be up at 7 o'clock and we come into agreement. The line is growing. I appreciate the people that get on and help us to come into agreement on the goodness and just manifestations of the goodness of all of those things that we want, the goodness of God and all of that. So I appreciate that. The line is definitely growing. God says where two or three agree, he would be in the midst. And so that's how we get things to come to pass. We speak it out, we pray about it, and then we agree on it. And it starts to manifest because we are in the image of God or the creator or whatever. Everybody has different names, but we all serve one. Okay. So listen, my Cash App is $ Real Talk with Tamara. The number is up there on the screen and the code. I am on at 7 o'clock in the morning. Go like my Real Talk with Tamara like page on Facebook. Okay. I am on Instagram too. It's Real Talk with WIT Tamra, and I got Real Talk with Tamra on TikTok too. Okay. Listen, I love you all. Y'all have a good night. Dear God, I just thank you for everyone that was on this line. I ask that you watch over each and every one of us as we sleep in our homes tonight. Take care of our families that are at work and traveling home. We ask that you give them traveling grace and look over them and watch over them. Watch over our vehicles. Just watch over all of our property as we sleep, God. No weapon formed against any of us shall prosper. Anything that rises up against any of us will be condemned. I thank you all for being on here, for tuning in to the show. It has been an absolute pleasure. I love you all. Y'all sleep peacefully tonight.